What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Broodwar ladder battle. Action versus Ridesky is what we have today, and I've heard there's some interesting new tech that was displayed in this little match, so I'm curious what kind of plays we're gonna see in this DVZ. A 12 hatch came out for Action, 11 pool, 10 gas. Going up against an 8 racks from Ridesky, who just scouted the natural and is likely going to be sending his Marines this way shortly. Action already has vision of this natural, though. He knows exactly what's going on. He's canceled his gas, and he will be pulling quite a few drones to make sure that a bunker cannot come up without him having something to say about it. 7 drones. We're here in the front. Ooh, getting blocked pretty heavily, but a great mineral walk. And oh my gosh, he kind of missed out on that attack. Okay, he does finish off that one drone. I thought that drone was going to end up getting away, but 2 kills have gone down so far. Great pull there. And this Marine is going to die for sure. So 3 Marines died, and only 2 drones went down, plus 2 SCVs were pulled off the line for quite a long time. So overall, I would say Action in a fantastic position. He's going to go ahead and take his natural gas now, and most likely throw down a macro hatchery soon, right? I'm assuming that he's going to transition into a 2.5 hatch off of this, because he's not going to have gas for a little bit. And that extra glut of minerals, it's got to go somewhere. And so I imagine we'll see, maybe he'll get the lair first and then the extra hatchery, but there's definitely going to be an extra hatchery somewhere along in this build. Command center is pretty late on the curve. The 8 racks really slows it down. Ridesky, things have really not worked out for him this game. He actually gets the 3rd hatchery there before the lair. Now the lair will start here in the main. And so Action has a great spot. He is such a powerful Zerg player. I'm concerned if Ridesky has it in him. I know that he is a competent ACS level player, very highly ranked on the ladder, but Action is on that other level. He's on that ASL level, a guy who could possibly end up taking down an ASL title at some point. He's on that short list for players who are in contention for that title, among such names as Hero and Snow, who have been in that running for a long time but just haven't quite gotten that final victory just yet. And so with this lead, Action's going to be able to do a lot. But Ridesky's going to try and get an early +1 build going. He threw down that quick eBay, and that's good. He'll be able to cut some corners here and there. He's built up quite a good chunk of Marines, and although the pushout's going to be a little late, just gonna happen now as this first medic pops out. The Spire is very late as well. Make no mistake. Everything has been slowed down in this game. So Ridesky, even a push out as late as 6 minutes might be acceptable. You may still be able to force a couple sunken colonies. In fact, one sunken colony has already started. 3rd base over in the top right hand corner. That's already been started. That's quite early on the curve, right? It's maybe not early in terms of when you could get it with a completely unharassed Zerg build, but with the way this game has gone so far, everything being slowed down as much as it has, that is a pretty early 3rd base. He's still got this macro hatchery. He's starting to pump out mutas. The 2nd sunken colony will be done just barely in time. He might try to break this. Second sunken colony finishes and he's not going to risk it. The mutas will be popping out shortly, and he wants to keep these Marines alive, at least to take advantage of the +1 and range that's on the way. So instead, gonna head up towards top right. I believe he just scanned that area, so he's on the right path. It'll be up to Action to bring his mutas together as soon as possible to shut down this attack. Another reinforcing group of Marines and medics is on the way now. Good turn by Ridesky. If he started to lose some of these Marines as he was coming forward, he would have been in a lot of trouble, but he manages to keep them alive for a little bit longer. Trade some damage onto some of these mutas. Hasn't gotten a kill yet, but he's hanging in there. Muta group is getting quite scary, quite large at this point. Reinforcements are going to arrive just as everything gets cleaned up, and so he'll be able to mop up these reinforcements as well. Great targeting there, getting a couple more mutalist kills at the end of this battle. Looks like he got 3 kills there on these mutas. More drones being transferred up towards top right. I don't know about this Marine train I see heading over towards top right. That doesn't seem like a very good plan for Ridesky. He's got the +1, he's got the range, but his bioforces are small. There's just not a big enough number. If Action continues to build units, he should be able to wipe this out. And even with just the 5 mutas he has left over, looks like he'll still be able to beat this. Yeah, just such a low count of Marines. Not going to cut it. And I really don't like the parade push we're seeing right now from Ridesky. He's feeding in quite a lot of units to Action, forcing out the stim there. Action going to catch another Marine coming across. More Marines coming up here with no reinforcements. No medics, excuse me. If there was just a few more mutas popping out here, he would easily be able to overwhelm this. And a few more mutas are coming up to the front. Some sunken colonies, emergency sunken colonies being made over in the top right. Hive coming up as well. I didn't see Lurker upgrade in the production tab, but I imagine it's done. Yeah, Lurkers are being made now. He's going to cancel one of those sunken colonies for sure. And catch some of these Marines as they're coming across the map. Again, feeding in a little bit. Is Ridesky letting so many of his Marines die as they're heading over there to the top right. Lurker egg is nearly complete. These mutas are going to rush ahead to try. Okay, there's one Lurker popping out. That's really important. He got the Lurker there just before the Marines arrived. And so breaking this is no longer really a possibility. And in fact, that entire bioforce might just get wiped. There's one medic, and it's only got 21 energy. That is ripe for the picking. So far, Action is all over Ridesky, and the parade push pressure that Ridesky was trying to apply to Action has kind of backfired. Look at the drone count. Action still has a lot of mutas left over. He's got all of his tech going. He's got Lurkers out now. And where are we at? Oh my goodness, there it is. Wraiths. A whole bunch of Wraiths being made. A huge tech switch for Ridesky. So interesting. This is what I was wondering. Is it going to be Wraiths? Is it going to be Queens? What kind of new tech are we going to see in this game? Because that's what I was promised. This game is going to showcase something fresh, courtesy of Dude Nerd, who sent it over to me. Big group of Wraiths so far, 4 of them. Really no way to scout that this is happening. The only thing you should be suspicious of as a Zerg player is where are the critical science vessels? Why aren't the science vessels flying around with this army right now? They definitely should be there, but they're not. And the absence of those science vessels could be ringing some alarm bells. In fact, he sent a lot of stuff into his main expecting a drop, because that would be the obvious play to expect. in a situation like this. Gonna fly in and immediately go for the Nidus Canal. As soon as the Nidus Canal is done, I imagine he's gonna scan and try to kill as many lurkers as he can. So killing off these lurkers as quickly as possible. Gonna bring the Lings to stand on top of the lurkers so that hopefully... Oh. Scourge come out, but immediately cloaking. And the Marines are gonna try to run in now. Looks like that Spore colony finished, and the Wraiths for the most part are gonna go down, but there's only one lurker left remaining. It's got 9 kills, but the Marines are pushing through. There's no Nidus Canal coming up, and a lot of this is going to be canceled. This is so interesting what we're seeing out of Ridesky. He's actually broken the top right with this Wraith play. This is some out-of-the-box thinking, and it's actually going to give him such a good opportunity to win this game. However, this is so common for Terran players to do. The moment you take a massive advantage like this, the best way... Oh, God, a Defiler that was coming across the map just died there. The best way to take advantage of it is to build defenses back at home, because you know that your opponent is in desperate straits. A counterattack is likely incoming. So just simply defending the counterattack by setting up bunkers in the front and dealing with that efficiently, I mean, that's going to be your best bet for winning. If you're able to block that counter, you're pretty much good to go. Ridesky almost making the mistake of not having enough at that front, but the Wraiths are actually going to fill in the gaps here, surprisingly. The amount of Wraiths that he's made and is continuing to make, by the way, he's still making Wraiths. Was able to defend that counter pretty handily. Now going into Hydralisk upgrades. I think we're going to see a Hydra Defiler game from here, because it's going to get scrappy. And he needs something to deal with these Wraiths really efficiently if he wants to win this game. That is so much gas that's been dumped into this tech. And so if it doesn't really do a lot of damage, he's going to be in some trouble. It's already done a very good amount of damage. He's hoping for more. Oh God, just running up this ramp. Lurker's getting massive kills. See if we can get a click on these. 5, 2, and 2. Now the Wraith's gonna come forward. Is there Plague available? There is. Plague is huge. That is an amazing Plague. Getting so much damage on all of these Wraiths. He's gonna go after the Nidus Canal though. Can he actually get it? 2 Wraiths go down so quickly. Diving in at this point is gonna be almost suicidal. There's actually 2 Wraiths up here. I don't know what they're doing. While more bases are getting taken by Ridesky. He's already got this mineral only. He's gonna go ahead and take center left. A lot of Hydras are gonna start to be made here by action though. His Nidus Canal is about to finish, so he can saturate a 3rd base once again, but he's been delayed so heavily. This game is firmly in Ridesky's control until action gets some insane trades with Plague and Hydra. I think that's gonna remain the case. This Ridesky just continues to grow, take more bases, even taking a base over here. Chasing down Lings with the Wraiths, making themselves useful even as time goes on in this game. Still able to find value with those units is amazing. He's got an incredible number. 9 Wraiths are still available, and now switching over to making a lot of science vessels. He's also making a armory. So are we gonna see him start to build Valkyries, or is this for some tank upgrades? He wants to start spamming out tanks, considering we are going for a Hydralisk Defiler game. That would make a lot of sense. Looking for a Plague. If he gets this Plague, oh, that Plague. These are the Plagues that I was talking about. These are the type of plagues that are going to allow Action to possibly make a comeback in this game happen. Filer here really needs to get a consume off so that he can plant another big plague on this group of Wraiths. They're so vulnerable to an attack like that. This Defiler unfortunately has no energy, and so he won't be able to do anything about that. Nidus Canal is down, and everything's going to start to move forward. A lot of these Marines have been healed up, but now all the medic energy is definitely gone. Darkstorm here in the front. Lurkers moving forward. Every Marine is going to go down. A great trade there for Action. And these Wraiths can't really poke in any longer. Oh, there's the big plague. It came from the north. That is so rough. Look at how quickly these go down to 0 HP. My goodness, a lot of those Wraiths just died. And these Hydras actually could have run forward and killed them all, because they're still revealed. Even though they're cloaked, the plague is going to reveal their position. So he could have wiped out every Wraith, and he might still do it. Ooh, all but 2. And so the transition is underway now. No more Wraiths will be made this game, I imagine. He is going for tank upgrades and starting to build up into this Marine tank army that can be so deadly. He's got a lot of energy on these science vessels, by the way, guys. Gonna look to start irradiating some of this stuff. Does need to get an irradiate on that Defiler. Don't allow that to get across the map, that's for sure. He's set up so many bases at this point. He really does need to move to defend some of these locations and prevent little breakthroughs like this. These tanks are going to be sieging up now and trying to gun down some of these. Oh god, so many SCVs are going down. Holy, 14 kills. Ooh, brutal damage. Tanks are going to move towards the middle. That breakthrough cost Ridesky a pretty penny, and a base is now up in the top right as well. Action is spreading out, taking more of the map, but the tank count is still growing. As long as Ridesky doesn't throw these away for free and continues to fill up the middle of the map with these tanks, it's gonna become harder and harder for Action to get breakthroughs like that, like what we saw earlier. Lurkers coming out, so the tanks will have to retreat once again. Like one will end up going down, but oh gosh, great plague there as well. Action really handling this with some incredible efficiency. There's a bunker here. See if he gets in the bunker in time as Action pulls off this attack. There we go. Does stim and bunker up, but a Defiler is on the way. Another breakthrough. We need to have more stuff in the middle here as Ridesky. Can't be allowing just small groups like this to get in and break your bases open. We're gonna end up in an untenable situation with the plagues going down on all of his fresh bases. And even though he came out with a really good build and some interesting tactics, I'm afraid for Ridesky if he's gonna be playing a little bit too slow, and Action's just gonna overwhelm him with interactions. Tanks are being made up here. Once the tanks are set up along this wall, the bases in top left are gonna be nearly invincible. Some, I believe that was drop upgrade just finished. And so there may be an opportunity to start dropping. Maybe he can drop up here. The tanks don't help to prevent run-bys, or frontal assaults, but drops are going to be very effective still. Hydra's coming out and clearing out some tanks. Marines and fire bats are being pushed back. And the overall tank number is not that high. In fact, this army over here is also not really going to be part of any fight. If a plague goes down on that, oh my god, that plague is so insane. Ridesky's falling apart. very quickly. He's paying attention in the wrong areas and not utilizing his forces. If he had a spread of tanks up here with Marines spread out as well, imagine this army trying to attack into that. It would be an absolute joke. Like 4 or 5 tanks with +1 sitting on high ground with a bunch of Marine medics helping them out. You're not going to get in there. But instead, I mean, we're having everything get pushed back again. Tanks are sieging up in a very nice position here on the left side. It's going to be really hard for... Oh, God, another Great Plague. My goodness. You cannot be eating this many huge plagues and expect to win as the Terran player. Still a lot of bases here for Ridesky, even though center left gets killed. Looks like this tank push is kind of doomed. Does need to run away with the vessels, though. What are you doing, Ridesky? Oh my goodness, all the vessels go down. Action is staging an insane comeback. But he's about to be under a lot of threat over at this base. Another another vessel kill. Ridesky proving that he's just not quite at the level of Action. Action just able to put on so many more interactions and handle so much more pressure than Ridesky ever could. He's still gonna get a lot of kills down here. He's still gonna wipe out this base, it seems. But his vessel count is low. And the overall supplies are getting very close, which really does favor Action. That's a lot of tanks coming out. Tanks can do the trick if you have the right number of them. It's absolutely going to be a threat. Even if you don't have the control or the speed as a Terran player, as long as you have enough tanks and they're all sieged up, it's going to be hard for the Zerg player to force those interactions. And the tank's going to be moving up onto high ground. He's going to try again to get into this position, it looks like. But of course, Dark Swarm plus Lurker is going to be an ever-present problem. Hasn't been able to switch into Ultras and hasn't really been trying either. He's getting away with dealing so much damage with Plague and just pure Hydra Lurker. He hasn't really had... It hasn't been necessary yet for him to switch into any other attack. Looking for more Plagues here. And looks like he's going to get a great one. Yeah, big Plague on all of those Marines as well. The Science Vessels aren't sitting over top of Marines where they're a little bit more safe. And so he's continuing to lose those units over time. All right, this guy pushing over here towards the natural. And I don't see any Defilers in the area. Plus the Nidus is going to go down. So that's a big problem. Losing that Nidus is massive. I can't believe he's not pushing in here, though. Why is he heading over towards the third base rather than just shoving into this natural with all of his forces? That can't really be explained. He's even gonna let the Lings just run out and kill his tanks. Ridesky having a tough time controlling everything, man. He's really struggling to move his army, and Action is pulling things apart regardless of how far ahead Ridesky is. It's hard to win when your opponent can out multitask you at this level. He's still got great mining. His overall supply is quite high, 170, plus he's got a lot of tanks. No shot he's gonna actually repair all these, right? Okay, he will start to repair. We'll see if that ends up getting done. Another, oh, a drop over here as well. Looks like that didn't do much. Gets pretty shut down quite quickly. Drops will make it back home, though, it seems. Now an eraser trick over here at top right. That's going to be dodged by Action expertly. This is why you always want to get Burrow, especially in the late game. Can be useful early on as well. We'll go ahead and pick up some Marines. Maybe head across the map once again. Try to get a drop going. Coming here to break in towards this center left once again, but tanks are now present. A little harder to break through. We're taking a great trade there as the tank number is not that high. Tanks have mostly been pulled away from defending the top left, and they're going to push in a big way. However, an amazing plague goes down, and I don't think he's going to be able to get lurkers under there, but he really softened up a lot of these units. Just a pure number of Ridesky's tanks is going to make it very hard for Lings to do anything. It's too bad he doesn't have some fire bats as well. A lot of these tanks are getting killed by friendly fire now as Lings come out and get on top of them. This army could actually break top left. There's really no tanks up here. There's a few. They haven't been sieged in the proper position just yet. Marines are going to run forward, try to kill the Nidus. Looks like they will be able to do so. And he's going in behind the mineral lines, trying to get as much damage as he can. Tanks are running low, though. And the army is getting up here right on top of this. Great plague there, hitting almost every SCV, funnily. More Marines making their way up towards this top right-hand corner, but just enough reinforcements popping out for Action to hold on to everything, it seems. This one lurker egg is eventually going to get taken down by those tanks. These vessels here are still trying to do the eraser tricks, even though he knows that Action has Burrow. And the Scourge are just going to clean those up so quickly. Another tank makes its way up here. Another parade push towards top right, but Ridesky's losing supply so much faster than Action. It's kind of insane. Ridesky is losing a lot of supply, and he's really the tank count has really been reset. Oh, this must have a lot of kills. 16 kill lurker down here, by the way, after mopping up all of those SCVs that were mining and got plagued earlier. The push has finally been stopped. Is this a drop? No, not a drop, but is seen the base down at 6 o'clock, and the lack of defenses there. It's going to be a tempting target. In fact, he will send another army that direction. Ridesky's got quite a bit of money, but he's lagging so far behind in overall supply, it's becoming almost untenable. Dark Swarm goes down, but that's actually going to help the fire bats to clear against the Hydras. In the end, though, one lurker does remain, and Lings will come up to kind of assist this area, try to break through and shut down that mining. It's one of the last mining bases for Ridesky, who's drying up in top left and is pretty low on SCVs overall. He really does need to pull these SCVs, try to get the Lings to back out of this area. Still continue to make a lot of tanks. +3 was never researched, so he's sitting here in +2. It's still a very reasonable amount of upgrades. +2 is scary. That's a lot of damage coming out from this number of tanks. He's scanning around. He's checking for fresh bases, and there are several fresh bases for Action, namely these two in the top right, but he's looking to take even more. However, that's still less than half the map. Even if he takes this, I guess that would be just about half the map. I don't know if this would go to Ridesky. That seems a little bit tough for him to hold that. What's in here? Okay, a couple lurkers, Dark Swarm to be able to get that down in the mineral line. Tanks are dealing a lot of damage, and a plague here as well. That's kind of funny. Plague on the CC and a few of the Marines as well. Eventually this lurker will just be taken down. Looks like it actually did die. The Zerglings were getting attacked by the tanks, and the lurker ends up getting splashed down. That's a lurker under here with just the one kill. Looks like that'll remain until that Dark Swarm goes away. Slight bit of harassment onto Ridesky from Action. I can't believe this is not getting hit. Okay, it's because it's burrowed. That's why. Not taking any damage because of that burrow. army moving forward to try and defend center left, but there's already lurkers and defilers. This is going to be a great plague as well, I imagine. Another great plague there. Tanks not sieged up in time, so the lurkers will get burrowed underneath the dark swarm. Another round of units making its way out and attacking down here to bottom center. Action, with his never give up attitude, is getting closer and closer to winning this game that he almost lost because of the excellent tactics of Ridesky. You gotta give it to him. That Wraith switch was pretty ingenious, but he's not quite at Action's level, as you can see. He's just having a hard time keeping his vessels alive, really keeping any of his army alive while dealing with so many interactions coming from Action, pushing in everywhere at the same time and looking constantly for plagues and hitting his macro stride. Now 154 supply, still pretty close, still pretty darn close, surprisingly close considering all the amazing traits that Action has managed to get throughout this game. I thought he would be absolutely crushing by now, but he's having a hard time getting another base online, and he hasn't really been able to shut down 6 o'clock yet. Top left didn't take that many losses. 48 SCVs still. That's a reasonable amount. It's not an amazing amount, but it's reasonable. He can hold on with that. Might even be able to get a push going. A lot of tanks are going to go down now. Lings trading out against tanks is an amazing trade. And this base actually did survive. 185 health on that. That's going to be an excellent boon to the economy for Action going forward, and probably the point of contention for most of the rest of this game. Big engagement here in the middle of the map, catching a bunch of these tanks in transit. This is not really how you want to fight with tanks. I want to have these set up in a huge spread formation somewhere out here in the middle and just controlling space. Getting caught crossing the map and allowing Lings and Hydras and everything to get up on top of the tanks before they're even set up is not the way you want to do it. That's certainly not optimal. Tanks out here in the front are going to get splashed down by their brothers. Still maintaining a very good supply though, and pushing forward with more tanks than he really knows what to do with. It's like another drop heading down. Potentially going, oh no, nothing in these overlords. Firebats are doing a great job. Tanks are helping out a lot. Lings are getting pushed back, and he's pushing him kind of everywhere now. Hitting with a low number of tanks there, but it's a struggle to move forward with all of your tanks and risk losing the entirety of your force. He's been building up this tank count all game long. And in fact, that tank has already been reset a few times, so getting it reset at this late stage would be very painful. Wants to keep those alive as long as possible. Ling's kind of just filtering in and dying there. He's going to clear out the mineral only now. Firebat and Marine combo. It's not going to hold on forever. Tanks are just about in range of this hatchery. They are so close. Firebats are just going to run in and die. There's a couple of lurkers with insane kills. 8 and 3. Okay, not that big. Not as big as I was thinking there, but hanging on right up until this vessel comes and gets the vision. Now the hatchery is dead. Is keeping him off of half of the map. This is a very good sign for Ridesky. As long as he maintains more than half of the map, or at least half the map, and keeps Action from taking his half, he's going to be in good shape. Ling's coming in the Overlords, but you can't drop on top with Marines gunning down the Overlords the whole time. That's not going to end up working out too well for him. He's finally getting chitinous plating. So late in the game, 36 minutes in, chitinous plating is being researched. That is wild to me. Action is going to try and pull out Ultras now. After trading with Lings and Hydras and Defilers the entire time, he's finally going to switch it up into Ultra. Command Center at center left. Looks like that'll be forced to lift. Still just hitting away at this group of lurkers underneath the Dark Swarm. Might be able to get an irradiate on that Defiler. Looks like he will. Fire Bats here on very low HP, but they'll still be able to clear all of these Lings, so he can retake this base. That is a full half of the map. And with this base coming up, he's really securing his future in this game. 3 Ultras are on the way. A lot of filled up Overlords. He's looking for another drop. Maybe into this top, maybe over here on the high ground. I'm not so sure. A lot of Fire Bats out. Exactly what you want in a situation like this. Masses upon masses of Fire Bats. As we get later in this game, he's going to be relying more and more on Lings to try and take good trades. Here comes his drop into the main. He will set up his tanks. As everything gets unloaded, he doesn't target down the Defiler. Might be able to target that Lurker. He does get the Lurker before it's fully burrowed. And so Action is running out of opportunity. Where is he going to be able to take another base? He's sending out a massive force, 170 supply. He's got to break one of these positions if he wants to stand a chance in this game. He's got to get out and take over this base, I'd say. Probably wipe out these tanks. If he can get on top of these and actually kill them all, there's a good chance that maybe he can still win this game, but the Ultras there not really fully engaging until the last moment. Finally, the Defiler makes its way to the front. He will be able to Dark Swarm on these units. Needs to get on top of these tanks as well, though. Has to clear everything, otherwise it's not going to work out for him. There we go. Plague as well. Lurkers under Dark Swarm. Now he can take this base. Finally, he can try to take this base, but reinforcements are on their way. It's a tentative victory here for Action, and it's reliant on further forces coming forward to prevent these bio and tank reinforcements from breaking through and just shutting down this base again immediately. Here comes some Ultras getting underneath that Dark Swarm. Lings filtering in, Ultras filtering in. He's don't want to be sending in too mishmash groups of units onto these tanks. He's finally going to jump in with all of the Lings and Ultras, and he manages to get that Dark Swarm right in on top of everything. Ultras are very low, though. Dropping quite deep in supply. Only 100 supply left. 118. Has another base at the mineral only, but his gases are running dry. Hardly has anything left in the tank. Whereas Ridesky still has a lot of tanks kind of hanging around. Could bring them, bring more of them to bear over at this top center. Try to save that important mineral only base that's just been taken. He needs to transfer some workers over here as well, I imagine. That'll happen here soon. Most of the SCVs go down there, but more tanks are pushing forward. Dude, this is so many tanks. Is Action going to be able to get in on top of all this and shut down this tank number? So many tanks leading so far back. Where's the D-Matrix? He does need to be casting that on some of these tanks to keep them alive. More Lings coming forward, more bio forces pushing up to the front. They're gonna load up, try to drop on top of these tanks at the back line, try to clear out a few of them as efficiently as possible. No, he's gonna go over to the center left, try to drop those Lings over there. The forces moving over towards top center have been stopped, at least for now. Ultra here, gonna be targeted down by the tanks. That should end up falling. No, it manages to survive somehow. Another Marine coming up here. That'll be killed. And everything has fallen back now for Ridesky. We're at kind of a stalemate situation. This is an awkward situation we're finding ourselves in. 96 supply. Wait, when did that happen? So much supply from Ridesky went down the drain. It was just a moment ago that Action was at 118 and Ridesky was around 150. Now it's almost reversed, 94 to 130. Ridesky is running low on all of his mineral patches. He doesn't really have anything to mine from aside from center left. He'll have to get that base up and running again, but with only 26 SCVs, his economy is going to be dismal. Lings are going to go in for the main base, it seems like, while this is going on. Just try to start clearing out some of this what's it called, production here in the main. Force Ride's got to make hard decisions. Does he come back, bring all of his forces to clear all of these Lings in the main, or will he keep his army together, defending or maybe attacking? He's actually going to attack top center rather than just trying to defend center left. He's left everything alone. No defenses in center left. Instead, he's just going to focus his best on trying to kill top center as soon as possible. Darkstorm on top of all of these tanks. Those tanks really did siege up at a late moment there. Firebats are pushing through, though. It's mostly Ling focused defense. Only a few ultras here and there. And so he's almost going to push in. 4-kill Firebat here is going to get a lot more as just pure Ling is flooding forward. One ultra there will actually break this, and so GG is called. Wow. Ridesky taps out. Action wins this game. That is insane. What a wild game. What a crazy moment that we saw from Ridesky when he broke top right. That's something I've truly never quite seen before. Something I don't think that Action was expecting at all, but he handled it pretty well. He went on the counter attack and took his third base over at center right at the same time. Wait, this is actually after, isn't it? Yeah, this is this moment right here. Let's take a look at this one more time. I don't think that Action even knew about this. Okay, he did see it right there. He saw it right there and immediately loses his Nidus with 5 lurkers top right, still not able to keep himself alive. The cloak there is so dirty. He didn't kill that last lurker. Only 2 lurkers remain and he's able to break through. Such a critical moment in this game, but Action just stayed so calm throughout. Canceled everything that he was building. Tried to get as many drones as he could out. Went for the counterattack and just doubled down into Hydralisk Defiler. Got the plagues that he needed and ground this man down. I am kind of in shock that Action managed to win this game, but it's really the difference between a high S rank player and an ASL level player. Action just so much better at forcing interactions and just getting the better of trades over and over and over again this game. Utilizing the lack of attention, or utilizing his ability to multitask, and Ridesky's lack of attention to find a way back into what was ostensibly a lost game. Like, after this goes down, take a look at the situation we've got ourselves in. No third base. As a Zerg player, he pushes across the map, tries to go for this. He just loses all of his lurkers to Wraiths. He lost his Defiler. He's not going to be able to push in. This is another Defiler goes down. Look, he can't push. He can't do a counter attack. He's got 34 workers. And he's sitting here on 2 bases. And somehow he made this work. Absolutely insane to me. Really impressive stuff from both players. The interesting tech that was pulled out by Ridesky, but also the amazing comeback from Action. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Just the one game today. I'm going to give my voice a little break here, and I'll see you in the next one.